what you want and make off in the night. Young and we're reckless, you reap what you sow. Burned at both ends like the time that we sow. Faster than lightning, we're on a roll. Take me on a journey, get out of control. Ooh, jumping on the midnight train, going somewhere I can't explain. Ooh, jumping on the midnight train, jumping on the midnight train.
fires all around me. I stay silent when I'm drowning. I never wanted you to notice. I always wanted to stay out of focus. It's me against myself. Feels like I'm on the wrong side. I feel like someone else watching from the outside. It's me against myself. Feels like I'm surrounded and I'm broken. I need someone to fix me. Someone to fix me. I don't know where to turn. I don't know how to tell you when everything falls apart. And I'm afraid of losing what's left. Yeah, I'm afraid of me and what's next. Thoughts spin round in my head and I'm still catching my breath lately. Nothing makes sense at all, 'cause it's me against myself. Feels like I'm surrounded, but I don't ask for help, 'cause I feel like I can't win. It's me against myself. Feels like I'm on the wrong side. I'm broken, I need someone to fix me. Someone to fix me.
There's nothing left to say, and nothing you could do. There is no other way when it comes to the truth. So keep moving on. You know you'll make it through. I'm so I'm done waiting here for you. more can I take? How long before I break? You got me feeling, oh, you got me feeling so restless. What move should I make? So much to lose when your heart's at stake. You got me feeling, oh, you got me feeling so restless. I know what to do. Never should have trusted someone like you. You got me feeling, oh, you got me feeling so restless. There's nothing left to say. I don't wanna leave, but I know I can stay. Oh, you got me feeling, oh, you got me feeling so restless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2, Round 7. My name is Retro, and you heard that right. It is Round 7. This is the end, or the beginning of the end, rather, of the regular season of Revival League. After this, we'll be having a short break of about a week, and then when we return back, it will be the playoffs or the finals, depending on how you want to call it, and it will be the best of the best from the Champions League, and it will be the top two teams, or the top three teams, the top two. Yeah, the top two teams from the Premier League as well. So that will be a whole load of more excitement to come. But before we even get there, we still have to wrap up round 7. And the first game of round 7 will be ETERNO versus LUMINA Gaming, who have actually never faced each other before, considering the fact that LUMINA, of course, were all the way in Champions League, even in Season 1. And they were, they pretty much swept the entire season. I think at the end of it, they were like 13-1 or something like that. So they've never really lost any games throughout the entire season, which is crazy. And then they kind of bended a little bit in the playoffs just because of a lot of roster changes that they had and they couldn't deal with. They couldn't come back from. But they still had quite a deep run into playoffs as well, considering the fact that they were dealing with so many roster changes and weren't really able to hold it together. So, but now, they, after struggling a little bit at the start of the season, they have actually managed to pull themselves back quite a bit. And ETERNO, the team that were in Premier League last season, have managed to promote themselves into the Champions League all the way before the season began, or before even the qualifiers began. And well, they've been just tearing through the Champions League this season. They have basically taken the spot of LUMINA and just been tearing through. They only lost a couple games, and even those couple games didn't really account for much because they are still in that top slot for Champions League. LUMINA Gaming, however, as well, I do believe they're either in the 3rd or 4th spot right now. So regardless, I think at this point it is mathematically possible for either of these teams to be eliminated. Or to be, to not be in the playoffs, in 2 weeks' time. So this game is mainly just for experience and for points and for a bit of pleasure. There's really no points really fighting for. There's no positions fighting for. You might be thinking, this is kind of a pretty irrelevant game, and it might seem a little bit like that because it pretty much is. But that experience is still so valuable, so I'm sure that these teams are pretty happy to be playing. And well, I know that another person is pretty happy to be playing. That would be Zemper, who, of course, if you've been following throughout the season so far, you'll know that he started out in qualifiers all the way back. He started in qualifiers all the way on Oblivion XC, and then Oblivion XC unfortunately disbanded a little bit, and Zemper joined LUMINA. Very, very quick on this attack is ETERNO. I didn't really even get a chance to talk about the map that we're on. We're on Bank, and they're already in the bomb site, but Maggie from the back of site finds 2, shuts that down quickly, just sees there the top of Venom's head. Doesn't manage to pick up the kill, but does allow enough time for Solros to come back to site. Maggie will pick up another one as Solros on the backbone will find one more. Darkness is in sight, finds one onto Ultra. It's a 1 versus 2 with Maggie on half HP. He still has so much time. This is actually quite winnable, but he has to be careful about how he plays this. He could blow up that Vulcan canister on the door, stop Zemper from coming in, but I don't know if he's aware of that piece of utility even being there. Zemper pushes in, gets shut down, and Maggie from the back of sight finds the 4th one in the round. Clutches that one up for his team. And the first round will go to Lumina Gaming, who, of course, if you followed through round 6, back when Zemper debuted for them, it was a Clubhouse Oregon game against, I do believe that was Vidical, and it was quite a crazy game. That it was Voltage, not Vidical. My apologies. And it was quite a fight from Lumina. If you missed that game, be sure to go and watch back the VOD. It was quite interesting. Casting was me and my friend Tardis, so definitely go back and watch that one. That was a crazy game to witness, and it was Zemper's debut. And well, I will say that first round might not have been the best example of what exactly Zemper can do. Of course, if you did follow through our qualifiers, you will know the things that Zemper can do, and he has definitely been proving himself quite a lot here on Lumina Gaming. And while I'm just very intrigued to see how this team will look once they come into the playoffs. But as I said, I didn't really get a chance much to talk about the map. Of course, I was rambling on about the teams, but we are on Bank, which is the first time that we are seeing Bank so far throughout this season. It has been played, I think, before, or it has been played throughout the season, but of course, none of those games were on stream. So this is the first time that we're seeing Bank on stream, and it's already such an interesting map where we saw ETERNO being very aggressive all the way on what is that? Open area and kitchen bomb site. Of course, it is a pretty difficult bomb site to defend, actually, a lot of the times, which is why it tends to be the tertiary site for most teams. But Lumina Gaming were very confident in themselves to go there, and well, it worked out in their favor, where despite ETERNO's initial aggression, they came and caught a couple kills. They got shut down pretty much instantly, and well, now they're being just as aggressive. Nico Meister already on these marble stairs, but Ultra is there with that supernova on the Echo, finds the opening kill yet again for his team, and Nico Meister, despite his best efforts, will be the first one to go. Defending the basement bomb site is Lumina, and well, Story is trying to put a little bit of pressure here from the dirt tunnel, being contested quite heavily from behind that server rack, and there goes Solrus with the Jaeger and that 4.617. 4.16. 4.16C will find the frag and will leave Lumina with an even bigger man advantage. Luckily for ETERNO, they still have their Habana up and at him to break open these hatches and to do a little bit of vertical pressure, but of course, a lot of that is hard to be useful at the moment when you're at such a man disadvantage, and when Zet is so playing so aggressively here on these blue stairs, of course, with the support from Solrus all the way inside of servers. It is pretty difficult for ETERNO to actually clear out that position. 3 versus 5 now for them. A minute to go, and they're just now starting to put a little bit of pressure onto server as well. Maggie will take down Darkness, who I think was trying to push from the marble / main stairs, and now Venom trying to put pressure onto the blue side, but of course there's the smoke and there's the ADSs as well. They take him down. There goes the diffuser control as well. And well, it'll be a flawless round. Zet will find Sace just there at the end. Around goes Lumina's way yet again. The opening frag going their way yet again, and ETERNO struggling here to find anything. I'm not sure if it's maybe the map that is messing with them a little bit. Maybe they weren't, expecting to play it. Maybe Lumina brought out something very surprising in the map ban phase, and they weren't really able to bring it back to a map that they're comfortable on. Or maybe it's just a map that they wanted to play and see if they are actually able to play it and win it, so that they are aware of that particular, skill. come playoffs. There's definitely not something that you want to find out when you're already in the playoffs and you're already, lower bracket finals and you're like, oh no, I actually cannot defend or attack bank. As it turns out, we are really bad on this map. So, using a pretty irrelevant game in round 7 that isn't going to change where you end up, isn't going to change how you compete for the, playoffs. It's a really good idea to actually just use it to, essentially scrim a map that you may not always be playing all that often. Everybody already has their idea of how to attack and defend Clubhouse, Oregon, Chalet. Those are the main 3 maps. Bank is pretty much an outlier in every single way it can be. So it won't surprise me if that is what ETERNO are doing. But nevertheless, Lumina pretty strong, and now defending that CEO bomb site. It's going to be a little bit harder to do so, considering the fact that they did ban out the castle. Of course, they banned them out themselves, so they should be pretty comfortable defending that without the castle regardless. But it goes without saying, the castle makes this bomb site so much easier to defend. Just because of the fact that, you can block a lot of those lines of sight. You can especially barricade a lot of those windows, whether that's on the banana side or in the actual bomb site itself. And that could give you quite an advantage. Ultra spots Darkness, who very early on into the round actually made his way in through that electrical room. I hope that Ultra communicated that with Zemper, who was inside of open area and could have gotten shot down. Ecomeister will find Mackie. Darkness on the flank will find Ultra. Ultra, who knew that player was there, gets shut down by that exact player. Now Zemper will be on the lurk as well, but there's so many cameras watching him as well. It's questionable whether he'll actually be able to do this. And there goes another one for Darkness. He will shut down Zemper, who was just not wary of the players still roaming on that bottom floor, and Satori shuts down Solrus and leaves Zet in a 1 versus 5, but it won't count for nothing. Ecomeister on the Nook will make his way into the bomb site, find the frag, and win that round. ETERNO put themselves on the board for the first time so far, and a bomb site that typically tends to be the primary bomb site for a lot of teams, or not the primary, but at least the secondary bomb site, of course, of that CEO and lounge. It tends to be a pretty strong bomb site, but ETERNO really showed some teeth and shut them down pretty quickly. Of course, credit where credit is due. Darkness roaming on that bottom floor, clearing out those roamers, definitely did ETERNO quite a big favor, taking off first Ultra, of course, on the Solus, who was not able to spot out the Nook or any other utility that was being deployed by ETERNO. And then, of course, taking down Zemper to boot, of course, the other roamer, just to shut down any other sort of flank potential whatsoever to come up from Lumina. It really didn't look like nothing was going to come from that. And then it was a 2 versus 5, as at that point, Maggie had already gone down. So there was really not much that Lumina could do at that point. But now they're going back down to the open area and kitchen bomb site. Of course, this was their primary bomb site, the one that they went to first, and the one that I questioned a little bit, because it doesn't tend to be the primary bomb site, but they were very comfortable with it. And, it proved really good for them, because they shut down the initial aggression coming up from ETERNO pretty quickly, and Darkness will find Zemper on that opening kill. This is the second round that ETERNO have the opening frag, and Zemper will get shut down. Darkness finds Ultra as well. He's just tearing through these roamers yet again, and the same 2 players who were necessary to hold off any pressure whatsoever coming out from ETERNO and to shut down a lot of this utility as well, with the Solus, are now both gone, leaving Lumina yet again at a severe man disadvantage. And now with Maggie being locked away all the way down in basement and Drone spotting him swiftly, he will be getting pressured and potentially even shut down here by Ecomeister, who is chasing him down in the basement. It's a bit of a rig around the rosy here inside of the vault, and Ecomeister is just there to pick up that frag. Maggie will go down. Zet and Solrus, 2 versus 5 yet again. A lot of this utility getting breached open or getting broken. Walls getting opened as well. There go the hatches. There goes the vertical pressure as well, coming up from Venom on the sledge. Zed in a pretty compromised position here inside of open area, and Solrus really unable to move out from the position that he's holding on to, but he will find Nico Meister. That is a good opening here for Lumina Gaming, but there's still so much work for them to do and so much time left for ETERNO to do it in. Darkness pushes down the stairs, finds Solrus. Zed downs one, but can't find the second. Darkness is there to clean it up. ETERNO equalize the score count, and Lumina are struggling a little bit. Those opening frags really should not be going ETERNO's way, especially not that easily. It definitely could be a bit of an issue, especially the longer that we get into this. They are playing Bank, of course, which tends to be quite a defender-sided map. And in Revival League, it is so as well. About nearly 60% defender-sided. So for them to, be kind of, teetering on the edge here of maybe not even having the defensive advantage, it really could be a bit of an issue. But, of course, as we've seen before from Lumina, they're a very, very aggressive team when they want to be. And even now, you can see a little bit of that aggression already waking up with Zemper and Ultra both roaming so far out of sight. Solrus playing far out of sight as well. They're very, very good at playing these positions and playing very aggressively. It just, battles. It just all comes down to whether or not they can win their gunfights. So far, they've been a 50-50 on those, but when they can hit those shots and that aggression comes together, that is a really difficult thing for a lot of teams to deal with. And I think once we get to see them on attack, that's going to come to fruition a lot more, because, of course, they're going to have their true and trusted Amaru, who they really, really love. They have a lot of back pocket strats with the Amaru of just any type of rush. And, well, speaking of aggression, Maggie is looking to go for a bit of a run out here onto Nico Meister, the Nook, who's playing those windows, completely unaware of a potential swing such as this. But, of course, Maggie will get spotted or will get revealed by the game that he is outside before he is really able to get the run out on. And oh no, he is close in that car. Nico Meister misdrones. Nico Meister has misdroned Maggie on the Jaeger, who could be chancing a run out here before he even gets off drones, but he doesn't get that greedy. He's just waiting for him to walk into his crosshairs. That's exactly what will happen. Maggie finds the opening frag onto Nico Meister, who droned or misdroned himself in. Loses that opening frag, and not only that, but loses that pressure from Garage, which would have been so good. Saves on the IQ, finding actually a lot of information here for his team, finding out that they have a pulse, finding out where exactly he is, and also being aware of the Solus as well, despite there being the pulse, despite there being the IQ, spotting the pulse, and spotting out the C4. The C4 finds Venom anyway. Another frag going the way of Lumina and ETERNO in a position that we saw them in before that they were not really able to recover from, and that actually neither of these teams were able to recover from. Once it gets down to that 3v5, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose. Darkness putting a little bit of pressure here onto the window, but he'll get shut down. Solrus playing very close. He was not expecting that. Solrus finds two. He is able to find the one onto Zemper, but that's all that he'll be able to find. Ultra pushes up the marble, finds the kill, finds the round. Lumina retake the lead, 3 rounds to 2, and now in the final round of the half, they could just be looking at the advantage that they were expecting to get playing on Bank. You missed the cam, bro, says Observer. Happy? Yeah, he did, but that's neither here nor there. I think the one that, Nico Meister is definitely going to be kicking himself a little bit for misdroning himself in, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is, just a lesson into how to drone yourself in. You have to check those dark spots, and that is why the best strategy when it comes to droning is to have a person following behind that drone. Not only is it better for situations like this, where, a drone will come in, it will find somebody, and you can immediately react to that, but it just generally wastes so much less time. Because if you're droning yourself in, by the time that you have droned a certain area, by the time that you've droned a certain room, and your drone went to a different room, somebody could have made their way back into the original room that you droned. So you could be going in there thinking that you're completely safe. Come to find out, you are not. But, it's just how it goes in Siege a little bit. And, well, ETERNO are going to be doubling up here on the exact same position on Maggie. Same exact position as before, this time playing the Aruni instead. And this time he could genuinely be looking to go for a run-on, especially because they have not doubled up, because Nico Meister has rotated around to ATMs. So Maggie, if he wants to, could run out. But again, as I said before, he will get spotted, or the game will spot him before he is actually able to shoot. So, or before he's actually able to kill Venom, so Venom will be aware. And Venom places down a drone at the garage. I could have sworn he heard Maggie move there, because Maggie did move. But he instead just leaves that drone there and leaves. No one's watching the drone. He shoots the drone. So now that information is completely gone, and Venom isn't going to capitalize on it one way or another. And Satori trying to put a little bit of pressure here onto the server side, of course, getting a little bit of help from the dirt tunnel as well. Darkness pushing down marble stairs yet again. ETERNO quite disjointed, but that is exactly what they are going for. They are going for an all sides pressure, which could work out, but it also could hurt them. And Maggie finds Venom, who misdroned, I would say, in even worse than what Nico Meister did in the previous round. Nico Meister, however, finds Solarus and finds a refrag in this game so far, or in this round so far. Equalize the mankind yet again. Zemper getting droned out, but getting away from it. A minute to go. Solarus a little bit upset about how he died. Zet still holding on to the position that he has with the shotgun and those smokes as well, helping him hold on to it. He shuts down Nico Meister, but now he's getting pressure from inside of servers, and there's nothing he can do against that Bearing 9. And Satori now pushing into the bomb site. Ultra will shut down Darkness, but they know exactly where he is, or do they? And Satori looking the wrong way. Could be getting shut down here all the way from inside of Gold, but as well as from inside of Garage. Ultra pops the C4, will find one, and Satori finds one, finds two. Zemper now, all of a sudden in a 1 versus 1. 20 seconds to go. Of course, he's the Solus, so he will be able to spot out the plant whenever it's going down. And there it goes. The plant is going down. Zemper pushing up closer. The drone will spot him. He gets off the plant. He just has to stay alive at this point. Zemper chancing his fate, but he finds the kill anyway. Lumina Gaming take round 6 and find themselves the defensive advantage that they came into this map looking for. And now at a 4-2 split going on to the attacking side, they could be looking at a pretty swift 1-2-3 7-2 closeout of Bank. But of course, to get there, they will have to have the 1-2-3, which even at Lumina Gaming might not be able to do. And oh, that could be a bit of an issue as saves disconnects. Of course, there was that voltage? I think that was voltage the last time that they played against Lumina, who had it was Vitical. It was Vitical against ETERNO, actually, funnily enough, who had a mass disconnect on their team. The entire team DC, they couldn't get back into the game, and they unfortunately couldn't get their heads back into the game either. They just were not able to come back from an already disadvantageous position. They just completely lost their mental after that, which I really don't blame them for it. When your entire team disconnects and then you're kind of causing this delay and can't really, get back into the swing of things, and, you're just stalling for so long. It really can mess with you, and I really don't blame Vitical for not being able to get back into it. So, any type of these disconnects, it really gets questionable, or at least I question whether or not that's going to mess with the mentals of the team or not. Luckily, Saves was in back quick, so no harm, no foul, or at least I hope so. It was just it was pretty much the exact same duration as a timeout would have been, as a tactical timeout would have been. Oh, but Saves is still lagging a little bit, so that could be an issue coming on for the rest of this round. You know, that's just Jaeger exercising. And, Saves is gone again. Yeah, could not agree more. That's definitely enough. Oh boy, and ETERNO are calling for a rehost as well.
Attackers must locate and defuse.
Oh no. Well, the rehost can only really be issued after the round is over, and 2 of their teammates have already left, so this will be played out as a 3v5, which, well, good luck to ETERNO. They do still have quite a bit of utility left on their side, though. They still have a C4, still have a few of those impact grenades, as well as quite a lot of information with the Solus. The Capcan traps could still do a lot of damage, as well as those Vulcan canisters that could waste a lot of time and, of course, could do damage. Now, unless Lumina decide to just bum rush them, and, well, there's not much that ETERNO can do against that. This could actually end up being a proper round for ETERNO. I mean, basically they have to treat this as, 2 of our teammates went for a spawn peek, died, and now we have to hold on to it. And, that's a position that a lot of teams find themselves often in. I mean, if you're ever playing ranked, that's basically the experience. If you're ever solo queuing ranked, 3v5 is actually pretty comfortable. Considering how often you might find yourself in one. But minute already gone off the clock, and ETERNO are still standing strong for the teams that they do have remaining. Darkness taking a lot of damage, but still sticking on to his position. Zemper will find Nicomeister, and that will put a big stop to ETERNO's hopes, but Attatori denies at least the flawless as he takes down Zet, who tried to hot drop that hatch, and, punished himself, really. Capcan traps are still alive, and, Darkness on the flank will find Solver. Sansatori making a lot of noise. Knows he's being pushed from Garage, but there's nothing he can do. Again, he made a lot of noise. Maggie will find that frag. Darkness now on 20 HP, and a 1 versus 3 finds one as Maggie just sprints into gold and gets himself shut down. 2 versus 1 now. Oh, but Darkness really can't do much. Zemper was just holding down that angle. Lumina find themselves another round, find themselves a step away from match point, and now as we head on to that rehost, ETERNO are really gonna have to buckle down and get on to winning some of these rounds. Of course, it is a basement side defense, really something that you don't expect to lose, pretty much like ever. But of course, in the situation of a 3 versus 5, there's not much that you could really do. It's really difficult to actually win that, especially considering how much time and how much utility, how many people they had to work with still. They could just double up as they did, and not much that you can do. Or the only 2 kills that they got there, or the only 3 kills they got there, were off the back of they found them solo. They found Maggie inside of gold, who was just running by himself. They found Zet right out of the way, who tried to hot drop the hatch, and then I'm not sure how they found. I think that was Solrus upstairs, who went down to Darkness. But regardless, that was I think that was also him being by himself inside of lobby, wasn't able to double up with anybody, and then there at the end, or even inside of garage, when we saw Zemper go down. Not Zemper, my apologies. When we saw the Solus go down. I forget who was playing it, but when Solus went down, there was also a double up coming up from Lumina. So really just not much that ETERNO could have done when they had a 3 versus 5 due to a disconnect that they really couldn't deal with. But nevertheless, they are still a pretty strong team. I mean, so far they've lost only a couple games throughout the season. They're still in that top slot for Champions League, and they're still one of those teams that we are definitely looking to be the favorites come the playoffs in 2 weeks' time. And they're one of those teams that a lot of people are thinking could actually make it all the way down into the grand final. So really not too worried for ETERNO, even should they lose this map. But even at a 5-2 split, they still could pull it back. And it's really tough to know what could have been of that round if it was a 5v5 played, completely normally. But nevertheless, they are getting their back team back into order and back into the game. And hopefully this isn't going to mess with their heads too much. Of course, I just spoke about how Vidical had a very unfortunate situation against ETERNO, funnily enough, just last week, and they were never able to recover from that once it went down. So hopefully ETERNO won't find the same fate, and they will actually be able to recover from that, and it's not going to be an issue for them. Just waiting for the rest of the players to make it back into the lobby so that we can get this cracking. Very, very interesting seeing, actually, seeing Bank played in the first place. Very, very unusual to see it. I think it's been played very, very few times. It has 53 rounds in total. So 53 rounds. That's like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 games, something like that. But that sounds wrong. I don't really know. It's something, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 games that have been played on it. Nevertheless, well, actually, I guess it could be more or less depending on how the split was. The split was 22 rounds to the attack and 31 to the defense, but nevertheless, we are back into it. And, well, I guess we're just gonna have to see how this one goes for ETERNO. Of course, LUMINA are now just a step away from match points, so if ETERNO don't start winning rounds now, they are, of course, putting LUMINA into a position where they most definitely will rush. I already spoke about how aggressive of a team LUMINA are. They always have been. ETERNO, quite different in their playstyle. They are very calm and collected. They have spent a lot of time, with the pen and paper, with the analytics, with the data and everything, and they found the exact positions that work, and they stick to those positions. They play those positions. They play those operators. They play it exactly to a T. And it works. There's a reason why they're at the top of the leaderboard. It works. But the issue with being a team like that, the issue with being a team that is very, very calm and collected, is that sometimes it is pretty difficult for you to just do a complete 180 and go into a very, monkey, headless chicken way of playing, where you're just running around, you're gunning, you're very aggressive, you're just, you're not really droning too much, you're just peeking into a lot of these plays, you're, what's the word? Face checking everything. It could be very difficult to flip the switch 180 and play the way that your enemies are playing when you notice that they are being aggressive and you want to counter that aggression with more aggression. And, well, there goes a C4 blown from darkness through the window, won't find anything, and the initial spawn peek attempt coming up from Nicomeister won't find anything either. Zoltra's a little bit too wise to just stick his face in front of that electrical doorway, goes straight for the window instead and saves himself for later in the round. Those observation blockers in play as well, denying some of these players that get spotted. Nicomeister hiding himself behind 2 cap traps here inside of Teller's office. Saves was there for a bit of protection, but as he gets droned out, he has to drop away. Semper spotting out or checking for some of those cap traps, and well, there goes Nicomeister shutting down Maggie. Despite the 0 cams that could have spotted him, they do not, and now he's able to rotate his way all the way into open area, which of course is a place that Lumina were just a little bit ago, putting a little bit of pressure onto, but they let that pressure go, and I do believe that's somebody now there up on those stairs. It is safe. Still creeping up on those stairs to provide a little bit more pressure and provide a little bit of protection as well for Nico Meister, who is now safely situated inside of open area and doesn't really have a reason to move, at least not yet. Drones are coming out. Zephyr will find Nico Meister, so that was a good coordinated push there coming out from the side of Lumina. They find one, they find another one. Saves goes down, and now it's a 3 versus 4. A familiar position for ETERNO, funnily enough. Trying to hold on to this basement bomb site darkness, playing the blue stairs without a shield, without any ADS is a pretty unconventional way of playing it, but playing it regardless. And Satori providing protection from below, holding through the hatch from inside of the bomb site, actually. That vector, of course, could do a lot of damage, and quickly, should anybody put themselves into its crosshairs, but of course, there's still so much to play around with. There goes the hatch drop. Venom, no doubt, hears that, but he's inside of the bomb site, or that was actually darkness. Finds one, finds two. Solrus will shut down Venom as he pushes down into the site from inside of Garage. Ultra is there to boot as well. 2 versus 2. There goes a beautiful swing from Solrus. Shuts down Satori, but the cams are spotting them out. Darkness whiffing a little bit on Ultra. Can't manage to find that kill, but inside of gold is Solrus, who shuts down Darkness. Lumina Gaming on match point. And this is exactly what I was saying. If ETERNO don't manage to win this round or the next few, they put Lumina into the inevitable position of rush. I've already talked about how aggressive Lumina are and how not aggressive ETERNO are, and they were aggressive that round. They got punished for it. They lost because of it. Lumina, I guess we're just going to have to see on whether or not they bring the Amaru, but they're the type of team that really love to rush. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they went for a rush right here, especially with that Amaru. I think the only reason they might not be going for it is the fact that it is a staff or the open area and kitchen, a bomb site. So it's a first floor bomb site. Not something that's as easily rushable, least of all with an Amaru. But I think if that was CEO and Lounge, 100% we'd be seeing somebody on the Amaru and we'd be seeing a rush. Although that is also questionable considering that Ying is not in play. Of course, Ying is almost crucial to a bank top floor rush, but Lumina Gaming are still able to pull off a rush with or without it. So if you're wondering why I keep banging on about how Lumina rush and how they will rush, it's because they do it so often. At this point, they might be called Rush Gaming. It might be called Rush Gaming because that's what they do. Or Lumina Rushing, maybe. That could also work. Regardless, the push is coming from the top floor. Actually, interestingly enough, they did not bring that Amaru either of the times that they were attacking onto the bottom floor. We saw ETERNO bring her, and the reason why a lot of teams actually do bring her, she's definitely not, you know, a troll pick, at least not on bank, where like she might be on other bomb sites, because on other maps rather, because she's very good at taking space and taking space quickly. And you can get those drones in, drone it out, and you can take up that space immediately with the Amaru. The C4 this time from Darkness through the window will find the kill into Semper, and funnily enough, that was the IQ that got shot down by a C4 from the Bandit. So, very, very ironic there, but regardless, the opening frag did go the way of ETERNO, and so far, the pattern, if I'm not mistaken, has been opening frag equals round win. I think the only time that wasn't true was in the case of round 7. Boy. So, was that I think, that might have been actually a C4 at the exact same time as he deployed that breach charge, because I thought that he downed himself, but that might have been a very, very beautifully timed C4. Nevertheless, they find Ultra as well. Zet now at only 20 HP as he got down. Solrus is in a 1 versus 5. Sneakomeister from the backside will find his injured teammate, and now taking a lot of damage from the bandit. He will find Darkness. but he's getting pressured from all over that top floor. He's the buck, so he could drop down that hatch, but they actually broke the hatch for him. So they're waiting for him in every single position, and there's really no place for Solrus to go except the graveyard. And Satori finds that frag, keeps ETERNO alive for just a little bit longer. Bit of a flash play there. Wow. Solrus goes, nice shot. I agree. That was a nice shot. Good one there from Satori, but nevertheless, it was only one out of many more to come from ETERNO if they want to win bank. He said thank you, says Safes. I don't know why he didn't say it. Oh, he might have the chat off, or he might have had it off during that little portion and I wasn't able to say it and turned it on, said it. A lot of teams actually have that sort of policy within the team that only one player, and typically that would be the IGL, has their chat on during the game just to keep themselves from getting distracted by anything. Not even from anything that the enemy team might say, but from anything that your team might say or might think. A lot of the times, you know, you get frustrated, you want to say something, but, you know, when you try to type and then the text box gets filled with that little red text, you can't type, and, you know, you kind of calm down because it's like, oh, it's not even worth it to say it because I can't be bothered going into the settings, turning chat on, saying all of this. It's just too much trouble for something that I thought of in the moment. But, of course, it's also good from, you know, keeping yourself, not distracted by any by anything that your enemies might say. Anything they might say to get into your head, to get you riled up. Really not quite surprising if that is the case for ETERNO. That's why Satori couldn't say thank you himself. But nevertheless, the round has begun, and they are defending the CEO Lounge. And despite my earlier predictions, they are not rushing. Lumina, for that matter, are not rushing, and Solrus will go down first, but Ultra will find that refrag onto Satori. Shuts down the Wamai, who, of course, was a perfect counter to Zero. Well, not a perfect counter, but a pretty good counter to Zero. And Ultra finds Darkness. I think that was on the jump out. Loses so much HP, but finds the kill nevertheless. Venom is chancing his own. I'm so bad, says Darkness, as of course he did so much damage, was unable to find the kill, but there goes Nico Meister. We'll find that one onto Ultra through the window from all the way inside of the front desk office. Maggie with the Blackbeard DMR all the way up on those windows is still trying to do something. All good mine was worse, says Ultra. Zemper finds Nico Meister. Safes is there to find the immediate refrag, and as he's playing the dock, he can stim himself should he lose any HP. Roaming on the bottom floor is Venom. He was looking at Zep for so long, but he found him at the end anyway. And now Maggie with the Blackbeard in a 1 versus 2 gets shut down by Venom. The round will go ETERNO's way, and now they're trailing only 2 before we get to potential overtime, which really could happen here, and that could be quite an interesting one, quite an interesting game to play, to witness. Really, you know, the first time that we're seeing Bank on stream, I think all season, including qualifiers, could be pretty interesting. I actually don't know if that's true, but I think it's true. I don't remember ever seeing Bank throughout any part of this season so far. Even as I'm going through my... This is the most depressing thing I've ever looked at. I'm just scrolling through all of my notes, and every single game is Club Oregon, Oregon Chalet, Club Oregon, Oregon Chalet. Oh, that's depressing. But at least there will be one Bank club in there. But here we go. The round is soon to begin. ETERNO have decided to go back down into the basement bomb site. it is the side that they tried to defend twice, although only once truly, because the first time that they tried to defend it, it was a 3 versus 5 that they actually did quite well in. I mean, they brought it down to a 1 versus 2, and then it was all just about the positioning and the playing together of Lumina that really shut them down. The second time around, they just kept losing people, and they got shut down pretty quickly. They really weren't able to hold on to it. There at the end. Is that true? That sounds true, but I don't know if it's true. I don't know. I know there was an Ansatori clutch at some point, but I don't know if that was when he was attacking or defending. Nevertheless, they brought a pretty different lineup here with the Fenrir as well. Of course, we haven't seen much of Fenrir yet. He's actually becoming one of the most banned operators so far throughout the season. Just because people really don't like him. They really don't like playing against him. They really don't like having to play against them. And Saves and Ecomizer are playing upstairs inside of open area. Trying to wait for somebody to push them, but it doesn't look like the push is coming from there at all, as Emperor reaches up in that wall. And now Solvers is able to push up into the bomb site with his Talon 8 shields. No C4s on the side of ETERNO either. Could really do a lot of damage onto Lumina Gaming. They blow open that, or they blow up that Fenrir gadget as well, but Ansatori will shut down Solrus. That is now the Osagon, and while that is going to be quite problematic, they shut down Zet elsewhere as well, or they down him anyway. A lot of damage taken Ultra. Zemper finds one of the Venom from the swing. One player down, two players very low HP. Ansatori still trying to peek onto them. There goes, beautiful swing, finds Ultra. They managed to retrieve Zet, but now there's still a lot of work for them to do. Zet finds the pixel angle, shuts down Ansatori, 3 versus 3. Zemper going for the plant. Again, no C4s, now the smoke is dead. They're not going to be able to do anything about that either. Ecomizer will find one, finds the second one, but Zet is there! Zet is there! Finds the second one on the turnaround at 1 HP. He was down at a point. It was looking grim, but they found it regardless. Lumina Gaming win that round, or win that map rather. And, well, that was a quick one. Well, not really. It was a 7-4. Of course, the scoreboard is not representative completely of everybody's kills and everything, considering we had that rehost all the way back in round 7. But nevertheless, Lumina prevailed. They won that map, and they secured themselves 3 points from it as well. Of course, the points, as I said, pretty irrelevant. They really don't change much. Both of these teams are through to the playoffs, so if anything, Lumina just made it so that they're not through by the skin of their teeth, which I don't think was true to begin with, but nevertheless, they, give themselves a little bit of padding there in the standings, but nevertheless, they are still through. Both these teams are, so ETERNO, despite losing, I think that was the first game that they lost in regulation, they are still good to go, and they're still looking good as ever. I really don't know who to give MVP to in that game. No one truly stood out. I feel like everybody, did their work when it was necessary to do so. Yeah, no one really stood out. Last time I think it was Zemper and Ultra. This time, truly, I don't know. So I guess I'll have to decide that after the second map, because maybe then, it'll refresh my memory a little bit. But nevertheless, we'll be going on to a short break. When we come back, it will be Clubhouse. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2. My name is Retro, and we are back with ETERNO Lumina Gaming. It is round 7, the first game of round 7, and it will be the final game that these two teams will be competing in for the regular season. They've already played one map. It was Bank. It was a 7-4 shutdown from ETERNO, from Lumina. I was looking at ETERNO thinking Lumina, and then I said ETERNO, but it was Lumina Gaming that won. It was a 7-4 shutdown. They went into it with a 4-2 defensive half split, and then they just kept on dominating throughout their attacking half as well. ETERNO struggled a little bit with connectivity issues at the start of their defensive half, and it looks like they still might be, as Safe's complaining about his ping at the moment, so that could be another factor into whether or not ETERNO have a good game or not. But nevertheless, as I kept reiterating the entire time throughout Bank, both of these teams are secured and will be going through to the playoffs. So this is the final game that they will be playing in the regular season, but we will see both of them in 2 weeks' time once the playoffs start, and then we'll be seeing a whole other a whole other a bulk of excitement come the playoffs, where it will be the top 4 Champions League teams, which are, as it stands currently, ETERNO, Arctic Wolves, Lumina Gaming, and Vitico Esports, and then it will be the top 2 teams coming up from Premier League as well. At the moment, that is 5 stars and shortest possible route, but that is not all still confirmed. Of course, in Champions League, all of the standings are confirmed. There is no mathematical way for any of it to change. But for Premier League, there is quite a bit of possibility for quite a bit of change. At the very least, for who the second team to go through will be, I think there's possibility for 5 stars are through, I think, confirmed, but shortest possible route could still get taken up by either REH Gaming or Guardians Alpha. So definitely stay tuned on to Premier League and keeping your eyes on the socials as well to see which team actually makes it through alongside 5 stars and alongside, of course, the top 4 teams in Champions League to the playoffs. But without any further ado, we are back on Clubhouse. It is a tried and true Lumina Gaming map. They love it, and they are very, very good at it. Of course, if you were here last week, you will remember Zemper's debut with Lumina Gaming. Of course, he used to play for Oblivion XC. If you were keeping up throughout the qualifiers but haven't checked us out in a while, you might remember Zemper's name. Have you please switch to someone else, for the love of God? You might remember Zemper's name, but you were like, hey, did he play for Lumina? He did not. He played for OXC and then has since been signed under Lumina, and his debut was very, very good. Nico Meister finds Ultra for the debut of this round, or the debut of this map, rather, and he's still lurking inside of Kitchen. A pretty unlikely position for somebody to be playing. Typically, even for a basement bomb site, if anybody's going to be contesting Kitchen, it will be from either below inside of Armory, or it will be from above inside of Ludgy, but Nico Meister just does not play that way, and neither do the rest of his teammates, who will keep finding more and more opportunities for kills onto Lumina Gaming. As they find a couple more, a C4 whiff there from Nico Meister gets him killed. Zet finds that opening, denies the flawless, but Satori denies Solrus, his life. And now it's all down to Zet. What a beautiful turnaround there to shut down Satori, who I don't think he was even expecting to find the frag there, but found it anyway. And now Zet, 1 HP in a dream. What can the man do with 18 pellets, 18 X-Kairos pellets in pocket, 3 flashbangs, and no drones? What can a man in this position do? You really have to wonder, because you very rarely see a player in this position shoots at that Prisma, gives himself away a little bit. If anything, it's if nothing else, it's a little bit of aim labs for him. You know, being able to flick onto the head of the Prisma that quickly and not accurately. Opening up the dark blue hatch, and maybe to just do a little diversion. But of course, there's a Siri gate here on the oil pit door, and they heard him drop there as well. But nevertheless, he manages to down Venom, nearly shuts down Saves through a wall as well. Saves is looking to peek him again, and he does just so, but that Type 89 kick is just a little too strong. Zed unable to find the kill now. 1 HP. If he shoots through the wall, he could find both of them, but he's none the wiser and Saves. Goes for the swing, finds him in the end. Round goes to Lumina. What an opening there. To Lumina, sorry, I apologize. Goes to ETERNO. I really misspeaking today. I really apologize. There's no offense intended. I have zero biases toward or against either of these teams. I think they're both great. I think they're both very, very strong, and I think that we're going to see both of them put quite a deep dent into the playoffs. So it's definitely going to be very, very interesting come then. But yeah, it's just a bit of misspeak. I don't really know where I'm coming from. Maybe I'm just bad at speaking. Nevertheless, though, ETERNO win their first round, and that opens up a whole load of other opportunities and other possibilities. They're now going to the bar stage bomb site, of course, colloquially also known in at least the casting community as bar, because the other bomb, or B bomb, isn't actually on stage. It is still in the actual bar. So a lot of people actually do call it bar, just because it is both the bombs are in the bar part of the bomb site. Nevertheless, though, they are going for the first floor bomb site, a bomb site that has been picking up a lot of traction recently. Definitely used to be one of those that nobody ever went to, pretty much ever, apart from SSG, who were the only team to ever play it, pretty much. Everybody else was very determined to play it as little as possible, but of course, since the rework and since CCTV has fallen out of favor just due to every strat being countered, they've had to find new ways of defending the map, and Maggie will find new ways of getting that opening frag as he takes down Venom on the Ella and shuts down what might have been an Ella Shoddy. I actually don't know which gun he was playing there, but if that had been the Ella Shoddy, well then, you know, it's good riddance. To not have to play against that again. Zemper already inside the kitchen, getting swung there by Bandit, but Darkness will get shut down as Lumina, as Zet is there to aid his teammate in that pressure from inside of kitchen, but saves now from below with the C4, could find two, and he does! He equalizes this, the man counts so quickly and shuts that kitchen pressure down right away. Maggie now on quite low HP, Losher injured a little bit as well. Nico Meister working with about half himself is going for maybe a run out. I mean, I spoke about the aggression of Lumina in the previous map, and I said that we're definitely going to be seeing some rushes and some spawn peaks coming up from them come Clubhouse, but I didn't think that we're going to see this side of ETERNO. A run-out attempt from Nico Meister doesn't net him anything, but it does force Lumina to be a little bit more aware of what they are doing and where. Nico Meister taking up space inside of the billiards table. As saves on the other side of the map. We'll find another one. Nico Meister finds his third for the round. Finds Ultra. Maggie will find saves, and now it's all down to Maggie, but there's nothing that Maggie can do, and Sartorial will shut him down. And the round will go to ETERNO, a team that I spoke about on the previous map, saying that they are very calm and collected. They find positions. They, spend a lot of time with, their analysts and looking at data and analyzing every bit of position and every bit of data that they have, and they find positions. They figure out ways that they can make them work with certain utilities, certain operators, certain players in those positions, and it works. And they just keep playing that, and they force you to come to them, and then they absolutely tear you to shreds. They're definitely not a team to be going for, you know, a run around through the map, find a C4 kill from below, or a C4 double, rather, from below. They're not the kind of team to go running around for a jump out, or for, you know, jump outs as well from that we saw on Bank as well, coming up from Darkness. Not the team, really, to see that happen often with, but when they can get themselves together, when they really get angered by a team, they can really put themselves into the exact right headspace that they need to go for these kills. And, well, so far so good. They've unlocked themselves another bomb site as they now go onto the gym and bedroom bomb site, and that could just be the final notch in their defense here, as they could be finding the full bomb site rotations. Of course, they found a round win on the bar stage, or bar bomb site. That is typically the tertiary site for most teams, so for them to have found a round win on a bomb site, this typically isn't expected to be won by the defense. It is definitely a very, very good step for them, as now, well, they just need to play their cards right here on gym bedroom, which is tends to be a lot more defender-sided, and they really could go their way. Oh, Nico Meister on the flank originally was chancing a bit of a run out, but doesn't find it, and doesn't find the flank either, as the drones find him instead. Rotating around and giving up that entire side of the map. Now, Cash and CCTV have been completely given up by ETERNO. That typically does include quite a heavy extension from the defense, and it's typically held for quite some time. Beautiful shot there from Venom, swinging from one player to the other, finds Maggie in the end. There's the Habana gone. That is their secondary hard breacher, and, well, that's going to be quite an issue, especially as they lose their primary hard breaches as well now. What a beautiful shot there from Venom. He will get finally shut down, but not before the damage has been done, and now before his teammate will find a couple more scraps from the side of Lumina Gaming. Solar shuts down Satori through the window. Ultra finds another one onto Nico Meister. He equalized the main count yet again at 2 versus 2, but Ultra taking so much damage as Darkness, in the meantime, managed to retake that position on top of Red Stairs, and now that cash extension has been retaken by the side of ETERNO. Saves will find himself another in the round. Shut down Ultra, and it's all down to Solarus. 1 versus 2 for this map, for this round, rather. Droning out, trying to find these players. Finds out the Darkness is rotated into Cash Room. But of course, he has been joined by the other player. They are sort of lining up. Solarus will find Darkness. Safe being very, very aggressive. So far, he's been very explosive in the round. He sees just the legs of him there, but Solarus sees him as well. Bring around the Rosie behind that server rack. Solarus afraid really to push. There goes a C4 blow from Safes as well. An EMP grenade blew up on the door to disable no utility, because there was none. Safe still pressuring, still shooting, and there goes a beautiful shot from Safe. He will find that round win. ETERNO complete their site rotation perfectly. It's a 3-0 lead for them so far, and they open themselves the entire rotation yet again. They could go back down into the basement bomb site, a very, very strong bomb site, and something that they very, very well could win. But just as well, they could go into CCTV and try their luck there. Should they win it again, they put themselves at quite an extensive lead, and then still have their entire rotation clear. But regardless of that, they will be going back down into the Church and Arsenal basement bomb site. And while Lumina Gaming better hope that they're going to have better luck this time. The last time we saw Nico Meister being very aggressive, playing inside of Kitchen, a very unsuspecting and, you know, unlikely position for anybody really to be playing.
Camera feed up and running.
Usually, if, I said this all the way back in round 1, if anybody will be putting any pressure onto the Kitchen attack, it will be from either below, inside of the bomb site itself, inside of Armory, or it will be from up top, inside of Logi. Very rarely will you see pressure being put from, the pressure being countered from inside of the Kitchen itself. very, very rarely, and that is exactly why it worked, because Lumina simply did not expect it. They got shut down there, and Safes on the other side was able to find a couple more as well. Ecomeister looking for a jump out as well. Venom playing the MPK, or the MP5 rather. MP5K. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. The MP5K Iron Sights gets shut down through the door, but of course he's docked, so he's gonna be able to pick himself up. And then some. Darkness will find Ultra. That is now the Iana gone. Her nades with her as well. And that could be a bit of a problem now for Lumina. As so far throughout this entire matchup, it has been the pattern that if you lose the opening engagement, you typically will lose the round. Very few times that has not worked out in such way. Satori still putting so much pressure here onto the players, trying to... Oh, wow, what a beautiful shot, and a beautiful angle for Solars to be holding onto as well. I personally hate this angle because it's, the light difference from outside and inside is so tough. Sometimes it really makes it hard to see a person, but luckily for Lumina, Solars does not have that problem. Finds the kill onto Satori and, well, equalizes the main count yet again. Set shooting down this factory camera inside of kitchen and denying any information that is being put onto him. Venom, just 90 seconds into the round, putting down some barbed wire in the middle of the hallway. Totally normal behavior. If you're wondering why both of these teams seem to be playing like it doesn't matter, it's because it basically doesn't. I've already said this, both of these teams are through, and the plant will be going down. So many of those flashes blinding not just the players, but us as well. The plant is now down, as Lumina were able to find the opening in ETERNO's defenses. Venom will shut down one. Ecomeister finds the second with the C4. And Ecomeister will find another one with the MPX. So there goes the P10 Ronin to shut it all down. ETERNO will get that diffuser disabled, and they will get that round win on the board for themselves. Bit of the friendly fire there as well. But ETERNO take a 4-0 lead, and this is where I really start to worry for Lumina, because they have not been able to win the primary, the secondary, or the tertiary bomb site. Now they will be taking a timeout. Couldn't have found a better time for it myself. When you're down 4-0, you really want to try and find what's going wrong. How can I counter this? And, well, I was saying how Lumina are typically the team to do this. And I think that this is exactly what we would be seeing if Lumina were defending for us. We would be seeing this exact same thing coming out from Lumina, and they would be going for, blitz rushes and Amaru rushes come their attacking half. But because ETERNO were defending first and they set this pace, this really could be a bit of a challenge here for Lumina, as they're really not used to being challenged onto first with this type of aggression. They are usually the ones to do it first, and then everybody else has to adapt to them. But ETERNO read Lumina's cards perfectly from the previous map, from all the way on bank. They were like, these guys are very aggressive, and they like to gun and run, so let's just do the same thing, and let's just have fun. And again, this game doesn't really matter for either of these teams. It is a map that both of them are comfortable on. It is a map that both of them have won, from 7-0 to, 8-6. They've both, or 8-7 rather. They've both won this map and played it, a million times over. So really unsurprising to see them just, goofing around a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a pistol round or a knife round. But nevertheless, yeah, it's just a bit of fun to end the season. Again, doesn't really matter. So, really not shocked to see ETERNO actually go for this type of play, because it is so far out of what they normally do. It's really tough to actually counter it, because you just really don't expect it. You really don't know how they play it. But nevertheless, they've unlocked their entire bomb site rotation. They're going back into Bar. And Lumina are still trying to just find a round win. Venom being very aggressive here on the stock doorway. I think everybody is playing Iron Sights. I think everybody on the side of ETERNO is playing Iron Sights. I think we're gonna... Oh, well, and Satori isn't. Betrayal. Neither is Safes. Wow, the betray. Oh, never mind. No one is. Half of the team isn't. Maybe it's just a Venom thing. Maybe it's just a Venom personal challenge of playing Iron Sights. Even when it doesn't make sense. This could be a really fruitful flank because I don't think they're aware of him at all down here in Oil Pit. Of course, he missed the mark on actually flanking them on the stairs themselves, but Ansatori will find Maggie, so that will shut down one of these hard breachers. Ultra makes his way outside and tries to rotate around. Zemper putting still pressure from the cash side, and now goes Venom for the flank, and as I said, it really could be fruitful, but there's a player pushing down the red stairs that could just shut him down, and he does so indeed. Ultra finding some kills or finding some damage here on the windows, but there goes the jump up from Nico Meister. He gets shut down at the same time as Darkness finds Ansatori, but the advantage, nevertheless, going the way of ETERNO. Not so fast, though, as two of them get downed, and now it's effectively a 1 versus 2 as Zemper is downed and in a irretrievable position. He gets killed as well. It's all down to Solrus and a 1 versus 2 to find the first round for his team here, or let ETERNO go onto a 5-0 lead, and that's exactly what they'll do. Darkness with a pixel peek of the SMG-11 Hollow A sight. Beautiful, beautiful, nice shot. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Happy. That is a very, very nice shot coming out from Darkness. And ETERNO put themselves into quite an extensive lead. Now, if this was round 1 back when Lumina were really struggling to find themselves a footing, and ETERNO were absolutely blowing through the season and through the league, I wouldn't be surprised that all of this is happening, but considering how far along we are and how much progress Lumina have really made, I'm surprised that even though everything that I already said goes about how ETERNO typically aren't the team to play this, so when they do play this way, it's really difficult to counter just because you don't know how to, because, well, they've never done it before. I've never seen it in a scrim, I've never seen it in a VOD. Don't really know how to do this. It's a pretty inconspicuous way of doing it. I mean, they're playing Iron Sights, roaming through the oil pit, running around, placing barbed wire halfway through the round. That is very difficult to predict. It's very difficult to counter something that you cannot predict. So, with all of that said, Lumina are still a pretty strong team, and you really don't expect to see them going 0-5. And now as ETERNO, for whatever reason, take a timeout there, tactical timeout. Just a round after Lumina. Maybe they felt a little left out. Hey, I won my timeout as well. We are underway for the final round of this half and potentially a penultimate round of this map altogether, which, if true, would be a very, very quick closeout for this entire matchup. I mean, what is Ansatori doing? If I didn't know any better, I'd say he was glitching. There they go. And there goes Lumina. Tried and true rush is underway. I'm pretty much entirely 100% certain of it. Maggie is on the Amaru. Ultra was chancing the blitz, decided better of it. Zet on the Thermite. There goes the Lion as well for Solrus. Zemper on the Ash. Now, the way that this rush goes for Lumina, and they do win it pretty much every single time, is the Amaru rushes in through the window, this exact window, this main stairs window, at the exact same time as the Thermite blows the charge open on the jacuzzi wall. Why? Because that covers up the sound of the Amaru Gara hook, and then the rush commences. Once everybody is in position, which I think they are, there goes the Lion skin as well, and there goes the rush. Ansatori, unaware of it completely, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is. They shut them down pretty much instantly. The backbone of this rush, which is the Amaru, is shut down immediately. And now, there goes another beautiful swing from Venom, shuts down Ultra, 2 versus 4. Make that 2 versus 3 is that we'll find Venom. This is a very unusual way for Lumina's rush like this to go. Very rarely do they lose this. I don't want to say never, but rarely. And Zet trying to throw a drone, trying to find some information, as is Solros. Both players now droning, trying to find information. Pretty uncomfortable for them to be in this position, but Nico Meister gets shut down, and now they're in a position to maybe go for a plant. Instead, they go for the swing, and Zet will get shut down. Solros knows there's a player on the main stairs, but he doesn't know that he's down, or maybe he does, and he's just not wasting his time going for that frag. Of course, he is a little less than 90 seconds still to go. It's effectively a 1 versus 1. All he needs to do is retrieve that diffuser, which easier said than done, as it is lost inside of construction due to Zet swinging and losing his life. There goes Solros. There goes the diffuser pickup. He knows he's probably inside of cash room. No line scans left. There goes a swing. Safe's now in a pro position. Stands back up. Both players swinging. 1 versus 1. Solros pushes in, gets shut down by the bailiff in the hands of Safes, and the tried and true, pretty much fail-safe rush from Lumina Gaming failed. ETERNO not only take the lead and, win the half, so to speak, they put themselves on match point. They are at a 6-0 lead, and, well, they might just be looking to, end this one and go have dinner, because Lumina are going to have to be completely flawless for the entire rest of this game, which I'm not saying that Lumina are incapable of doing, but it is going to be quite a tall order, especially considering the fact that ETERNO might be trying to rush them, which, if it goes anything like the way it went for Lumina, that could actually help Lumina a little bit. It might actually go their way, as they might actually get that round win. But of course, all of those are ifs and what ifs and maybes, but it still could happen. Maggie going for a spot peek as well, just to boot. Oh, that's I'm sure there's a better way of doing that. There has to be a better way of doing that. That's such a long angle onto this doorway. I don't think that you can even see anything from there. You would have to be like an inch from your monitor and have a giant monitor to be able to see actually anything through that. As you really can't, but it's really difficult. This isn't something that I'd be able to see anything through if I was in an actual game. I think my mindset would be completely different. But there goes Venom through the doorway, and avoiding getting shut down from that very, very long angle, which I stand by the fact that there's definitely got to be a better way of doing it, of opening up that angle. And there goes the opening kill. Zemper will find darkness. Down below, shuts down the pressure coming up from that side. Venom with a punch hole inside of Garage, just waiting for somebody to push into him, to swing in, to peek their little head through it, which could just be Ultra. Of course, there goes the bandit trick coming out from Maggie, and it will stick! That is huge. That is absolutely massive here for Lumina Gaming. Zat will find one onto Nico Meister. There goes Ultra throwing down so many of these impacts, trying to shut down Venom on the Blitz. He still has one more in pocket, and Venom doesn't really need much damage now to get shut down. There goes a little bit of a peek coming out from him as well, and he gets him killed. Venom going down. Ultra absolutely exploding on this one. The wall has been blown open, but not before Maggie did his damage on the first exothermic charge, tricking beautifully, and not before the rest of the team got shut down. 2 versus 5 now for ETERNO. It's a position that we saw them on, or in quite a lot before on Bank. Is it something they're going to be able to recover from, or does Lumina have this one in the bag? There goes a smoke grenade to cover up the push from Mansatori. But the Warden is there. Maggie finds one with a C4. And now it's all down to safes. That diffuser has been dropped as well. There goes one swing. He could find another one, but he doesn't. At least not yet. Zemper, who was down for a moment, gets retrieved. Saves, finds another one into Ultra. They're just feeding him at this point, which is 6-0. You really don't want to be doing. Places down a Claymore just to prevent anybody from swinging him quickly. But that timer is dwindling down. He's only got about 15 seconds to go. He finds one inside of Jim's bedroom, but that's all he'll get. Zemper from inside a bathroom will find that final one with the saves. Keeps Lumina in this one for just a little bit longer, but there's still so much work for them to do to try and bring this into overtime and maybe win it there. Is that saying boosting saves KD little by little? Pretty much what that happened. Pretty much what that round was. They were just feeding him kills, and that really could have gone a different way. Safe struggling a little bit there to type TY for thank you, but he gets it there in the end.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Venom, follow my YouTube. Yeah, nothing like a little shameless self-plug. Gotta love it. But another round on the board nevertheless. Going down to basement now is Lumina to try and find a round win there potentially. Of course, they're gonna need it. Bringing out the Fenrir as well. Should be very interesting.
5 seconds to go.
Wait, what? Oh, no. Oh, okay. So I got a little bit confused. For a moment, it looked like Ansatori and Darkness were both playing Kali. But no, it's just that the Zofia and Kali little icons look quite similar. And it was a quick glance, but that scared me for a moment. I was like, how are they bringing two Kalis? But yeah, that Fenrir could be a bit of trouble as they have a Bravo on the board, but one of those might have already been hacked by a Muzzy pass from Zet, so he could actually be in control of one of those Bravo drones, which could really be a problem, as I think we could find some humor in maybe a Claymore getting, you know, turned against the attackers. I don't really know what Maggie was trying to shoot there, but nevertheless, Mitt has gone. And yeah, Venom is still playing Iron Sight, so I think this was just a Venom personal challenge. Darkness will find Zet. Ultra, trying to hold off any pressure coming up from the main stair side. Darkness just drawing, trying to find anybody here. And he just could. Of course, Zet now gone. That means his pests won't be as, big. Of course, any drones that he might have already hacked and placed into position, of course, will remain there until they are found out by the attackers, but any future ones will not get to be moved, and Ultra just playing with fire here at the bottom of main stairs. So much pressure being put onto him from above, and Ansatori is so close to him! He shoots through him twice, gets him on the second time. Ansatori still pushing down, but he gets shut down instead. Zemper from a deep angle from inside of Arsenal. Grenades raining down on top of Lumina. There goes Venom swinging in, but Fenrir Gadget will make that a little bit harder. Darkness pushing in behind him. We'll find Maggie. 2 versus 3 now. Shield will get shut down for Zemper. It'll put him in a bit of a back foot now as well. Soul Rush trying to hold off pressure coming up from Church as Zemper gets down. It's a 1 versus 3. He finds one. He still has 2. Darkness makes his way into Church to try and go for the plant. Ecomeister is there for help as well. There goes the plant. Solvers pushing out from behind, and no, he's there. 1 versus 2 to keep his team in this one. Plant goes down. He finds one. It's a 1 versus 1, but he's being pushed from inside of short, and there's nothing he can do. He gets shut down from behind. ETERNO win this one. It's 7-1. Win for ETERNO. It's a Buck MVP elite MVP animation. They're coming up from Safes, who, well, he played his heart out there, as did the rest of ETERNO. They really, really played that one out for the ages, and what a way to close out the season for them. Of course, now they're going to be taking a break for the next 2 weeks, and then when they come back, it will be the playoffs, and that will be a whole other type of excitement, and that'll be very, very fun. Of course, I didn't name the MVP for the previous map of Bank. I just couldn't decide in the moment. Since then, I've analyzed my my little data sheet and my little stats that I've gathered throughout the map. I think we'll be giving it to Maggie, a very, very good player, very, very strong. Lumina definitely benefit from having a player like Maggie on their team. Very good on those aggressive positions. Remember you saw him on inside of Garage, pushing onto those players that were trying to put pressure into Garage on either of the bomb sites they were playing at that time. Very good at weaving throughout the map, playing a lot of that Goyo as well. Sort of a flex support player, and still did quite a good job for his team. Was very, very good at getting those opening frags as well, and just one of those players that definitely deserve to be rewarded once in a while. So that will be the MVP for Bank. For Club, I mean, the game said so, but I also agree with it. I think it would have to be Saves. He was there to get those kills right away. He was very, very quick with it. He was just overall very very annoying, I think, to deal with for Lumina there. And he was just everywhere. Not to mention, of course, the Bailiff clutch in round 6 to put ETERNO on match point. I think that alone gives him the MVP title, no doubt. But nevertheless, he will be the MVP for Clubhouse. And that will close out this matchup. I want to say that will also close out Champions League for this season, as I don't know if that we'll be having any further games throughout this week. If we do, then we're just gonna cut this bit out from the stream, and we're just gonna pretend like I never said it. But nevertheless, that will close out this matchup, and I'll say it. It closes out round 7, as well as the regular season for Champions League. Revival League Season 2, very shortly coming to an end. We've only got about 2 weeks still of regular playtime, and then it's on to relegation/promotions, and then before you know it, it's August, and we are straight back into the qualifiers. Wow, time flies fast. It feels like it was yesterday when, the qualifiers began for Season 2, and we had a game every day, and so many things happened. So many good teams that we saw come and go. OXC were definitely an honorable mention. War Dogs. There have been a lot of teams so far throughout the season, as well throughout the regular season. Of course, our Champions League teams, our Premier League teams, our Alpha League teams as well. Everybody has just been putting their heads in through this one, playing their hearts out for this season, and it has definitely been the utmost pleasure to have casted this season and to have been around for the ride. Of course, I was here a little bit throughout Season 1. Didn't really get integrated until the playoffs of Season 1, so it was kind of, still getting to know a lot of the teams and a lot of the players, halfway through the playoffs. But this time I was around for the ride for the entire thing. All of the players, all of the teams, and it has been such a cool thing to experience. So, thank you everybody for participating in it, from the Champions League, from the Alpha League, from Premier League team, from Premier Leagues as well. It has been a journey that I really will cherish for a really long time, and for probably my entire life. But with all of that said, thank you everybody for watching. That will close out this stream as well. Make sure to stay subscribed to this channel so that you know when we next go live. Keep up with our socials as well, especially throughout the playoffs. In 2 weeks' time, they begin, as that will be very exciting. We will have some hungry teams competing against each other for those top spaces, and it will be definitely something to see. But thank you everybody for watching. Have a good night.